Hi, my name is Ian Favreau, and this is for Game 240, Game Texturing. I'll just be giving you a run through of what I've done to optimize my assets. Red is unoptimized, green is optimized, obviously. They're the same set of the geometry. Anyway, so for this I could have done a plane, but it would have been kind of jarring for the player to kind of look at it from an angle and then see that it's just a flat piece of geometry, which would have broken their immersion almost. So I wanted it to be pretty high poly. As for this barrier, I wanted it to have geometry because, as you can see, there's some lighting information associated with it. So it would look weird if it was in Substance Painter as a normal map. I've had that experience in the past painting pipes. That just doesn't look right at all. So also, you're going to be seeing this a lot where all I did is I took away some of the back-facing polygons because you're not going to see them, just as a precaution to save polygons, because I noticed when I put this in Unreal last time it was really laggy, even with everything attached and stuff like that. So for these floors, all I did, as you can see, is I made them basically just planes. But for the really thicker pieces of geometry, I wanted to preserve those so that they'd be higher up and you could actually see them. And again, the lighting information kind of sells that they're 3D, and it would just look weird as a texture. It would look like something from Doom rather than something more high poly. Also, for this wall, you can see I got rid of a lot of the geometry in favor of having more texturing done, namely this part. I did this a lot where you see these 45-degree angles that we did in Portillo's class to try and make it sci-fi, and that was good for then, but now I know the better way of texturing it. Also, these could just be normal maps because the player is not really going to be looking at it from directly this angle, so the immersion won't be broken there. I've done that with a lot of different things. And then these wires I replaced, or, well, I am now. So yeah, I just deleted those because they don't have too much lighting on them. So it'll be kind of easier to have them just be an alpha or something on there in Substance Painter. Anyway, for this one, there wasn't really a whole lot I could do with it, other than maybe deleting these, but again, it would just be really kind of painstaking in Substance Painter to actually get it to a level I wanted it to be, if that makes sense. So for instance, I couldn't really paint this on without it looking super odd, although I could reduce the poly count if I wanted to before I actually import it in. Also for this wall, I realized a lot of mistakes that I made before, like with this one. There's edge loops that, like, why did I even put edge loops there? They're doing nothing. So just reckless stuff like that I fixed. For this, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep this on as geometry, because I like the way the lighting hits it, although it is a lot of polygons, which I could just add as normal maps. That's probably the route I'm going to take, so I'll get rid of those. These wires I preserved so that, because the lighting information and all that. For this wall, what I did is I took out these 45-degree angles, and again, I'm kind of repeating myself. Basically, it was just a little bit time consuming, but these things on the side I got rid of because they could just be normal maps, and they'll be seen more from this side than this side, really. So I just kind of paid attention to where I could kind of fudge it almost. And obviously I'll do smoothing groups on these because right now you can see they're very stripped, I suppose. Now onto these, I'll make this pretty quick. So for this, I optimized all the polygons right here. Oops. I'm kind of going all over the place. So yeah, I optimized the polygons. I got rid of some of the more complex geometry back here because you won't really see it, and you can just manipulate it through normal maps anyway. I wasn't sure if I should go through every single asset, but just to cover my ground, I got rid of a lot of the bump, a lot of the geometry here, and I could just make like a light emissive layer in Substance Painter. So yeah, but for these it'd be too weird if it was just an indented thing. What I like to do in Substance Painter is actually, if it's more than an inch, I like to model it out, but if it's kind of less than an inch, I can just do it through Substance with height maps. For this, there wasn't really too much I could do other than optimize it a little bit. Maybe these could go. Yeah. Whoops, did it on the wrong one. Anyway, and then for this, I got rid of a lot of the notches that could be done with normal maps. For these, I wanted to keep the geometry there. Then I got rid of, there were some strips on here that I got rid of. Otherwise, these are planes. I could probably reduce the poly count on those, that couldn't hurt. Also, I got rid of the funky design on it, which didn't really fit the sci-fi aesthetic, but I could just add it later. Also, these, they're ridiculously high poly, they're repeated a whole bunch, so what I did is I went ahead and reduced those quite a bit. And they still retain that sort of shape. And then I got rid of a lot of the... Where am I? I got rid of a lot of the geometry here, as you can see. And I got rid of a lot of the dials and stuff, just miscellaneous stuff that I could just add later. For this, I didn't do... I barely did anything, actually. Which isn't to say I was being lazy, although maybe I was, but these can't really be normal maps because you see them dead on. Same goes for this. I got rid of some of the stripes across. Yeah, for this, maybe I could get rid of some of these, which I'll update it in the second part of this video, which will cover the sci-fi centerpiece over here. But anyway, nothing was really done with this. As far as this goes, I technically could get rid of some of this geometry, but I think having this as another one of these complex centerpieces would work okay. Like this, it doesn't hurt for this to be too high poly, because this only appears once in the map. I missed one there. Okay, so I'll see you back in the second part of this video. Hello again, this is part 2. So basically, for this, all that I did is I cleaned up the geometry a little bit, so you see this like 45-degree angle and all these unnecessary polygons I got rid of, and I smoothed it out more so I can now texture it more efficiently. Also, I split up the robot arm so that instead of being all like jumbled up, you can actually see it, and I'm going to texture these individually because what I need to do is I need to basically put all of these into Substance Painter differently so that I can rig them in the engine, because otherwise if I export this as just one FBX, it's not going to be able to be rigged at all. So that's basically what I did, and then I'll get to this in a second, but first let me explain why I kept some of the back-facing polygons in the walls. So I didn't want to delete these because when I put this into the game engine, it's going to read these polygons, and I wanted to be able to see what I'm doing. So in case I'm like way over here in Unreal, I'll be able to see all these walls and see all my geometry. So that's the reason I kept the back-facing polygons, and there's not that many, so it doesn't eat up too much memory. As for this is where I use the open subdiv modifier and the crease set. So basically, for the open subdiv, I can do this so you can see it better. I have a cleaned up version that I'm going to submit after the fact, because it's on the school computer and there's a version change, and for some reason I can't download the newer Macs, but that's neither here nor there. So as you can see, it did an okay job. The earlobe is really weird, or not the lobe, rather, but just the ear looks a little bit messed up, but again, that's fixed in the newer update I'll be submitting. I like this, what it did. It kind of degraded it or deformed it so that it looks more organic, which is definitely what I was trying to go for with the robot and the collarbones as well. If you see the original one, it looks really blocky and just really unappealing. So basically what I did, I keep saying basically, but I don't know. I did the nose, I did a bunch of nose crease sets, some for the ears, which didn't work all that well, to be honest, and some of these only worked very nuanced. So if I go to like the eye guards, I wasn't really sure what to call them. These things right here, I tried to crease them out because I noticed people have those on the sides of their eyes. If I modify this, you can see it doesn't really do much for what I was trying to go for, but it'll probably do more with my updated model that has like a jawline and all of that. I tried to capture the jaw here. Oh, that's the other part of the jaw. Well, yeah, anyway, then I did something with the forehead where I wasn't sure how in-depth you wanted us to be on this, but yeah, basically that's all. So have a good day.